crazy things you didn't know about the Queen's Guards. There's a reason they wear those hats. Apparently, in the old days, the hats were considered intimidating. Also, the hats' chin straps are fastened under their chins in case of attack. Cavalry soldiers would aim for the head, so that makes sense, I guess. The placing of the strap ensures that the hat would come off if hit without breaking their necks. The guns aren't loaded. The guards' intimidating weapons only have ammo in them when they're aware of a potential serious security threat. A guard on Reddit who uses the username Nibs123 says that he has never carried a loaded gun as a guardsman. But I guess in the case there is a serious security threat, then the gun would be loaded, but it doesn't happen very often. Women aren't allowed. When the guards are observed, it's easy to see that it's all men. This is because the British military women are not released to serve in combat units. But there was once an exception. In April 2007, for the first time, British Army women took on the role of the Queen's Guards when a contingent of artillery was assigned to protect Windsor Castle. But again, that was only one time. It has never and probably will never happen again. You have to pass a test. How difficult is it to become a member of the Queen's Guard, you might ask? Well, it's gonna be difficult because it's Palace Guards, right? Since the Guard is basically a military organization, candidates have to pass the BARB, the British Army Recruit Battery Test. According to a Redditor, the BARB tests your, quote, basic knowledge and smarts. The other requirements, however, well, one is you must be tall. Standing still for that long carries a serious health risk. Some people think the guards aren't allowed to move at all, but that's not true. In fact, moving is pretty much mandatory. The only movements they are allowed during their regular shift are to, quote, turn to the left, march about 10 paces, turn around, and go back to standing still, says a Redditor. It's best to do this every 10 minutes or so to stop yourself from fainting from the blood that gets trapped in your legs, they continued. They hate the hot weather. The stay still rule is so strict that guards even aren't allowed to wipe their sweat away. The heat is especially brutal. People will sometimes come from inside to bring them something to drink. However, what's their least favorite thing about the heat? The drill boots. The polish melts in direct heavy sunlight and they have to be redone. They have to feint properly. So as most of you probably know based on all the videos of guards fainting, that guards tend to faint very often. When they do though, they have to feint in a specific way. It's called feint to attention and they need to stay straight as they fall, essentially falling on their face. Doesn't sound very nice, does it? They turned the palace into a hotbed of high-risk gambling and Ponzi schemes. Managers turned a blind eye to culture of high-risk gambling schemes within the palace in which officers lured investors and colleagues into pumping huge sums into hopeless ventures, a source said. One such pyramid-like scheme set by a young constable was an investment in women's empowerment. They devised a system so they could nap on the job. A, quote, ring-around system operated at Buckingham Palace to prevent officers from being caught by their supervisors sleeping on night duty. There were 2 outside posts to protect the garden area outside the Queen's bedroom. It was natural for us to go to sleep on night duty, and if a senior officer was coming to the garden, I would contact the control room to ring another post, said one guard. Everyone was awake until the governor did his checks and had a little chat and went away, then we'd be back to sleep. The guards would turn up to work drunk. Drinking was a, quote, huge part of the culture among the Queen's Guards. But such as the need to have a full relief of armed officers on duty at all times was said that even those who turned up smelling strongly booze were allowed to book out weapons and get on with the job. If they were seriously under the influence, they might be advised to sleep it off in one of the palace rooms, or even given medical relief in the form of, quote, a pack of mints. There was one incident when a senior official in the royal household was coming through the palace gates, and instead of lifting the barrier, a hungover officer accidentally pressed the underground ramp button, sending a woman's car into the air. And that was the 10 crazy things you didn't know about the Queen's Guards. Let us know what you thought of this video in the comments below, and we will see you next time.